Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the start of another reading vlog. I didn't really plan on doing another reading vlog right away, but I don't know. I just figure we'll go for it. Why not? And I'm going to start it off with an unboxing because a package opening, because I did a little bit of self-gifting for Christmas, I guess you could say, and I bought a bunch of books, so I wanted to show them to you guys real quick, and then I will talk to you about what I'm reading this week, or what I'm planning on reading this week. Okay, so the first book that I picked up was a hard copy of Firebrand by Kristen Britton. I own all of the Green Rider series. This is book 6 in the Green Rider series, I think. I will have to double check myself on that later. But I own all of them. I think that my other hardcovers are actually at my parents' house, but I own 1 through 3 in paperback. If you haven't read these books, I do recommend them. I really do love them. I do need to do a read-through of the entire series. It's probably not going to happen before Winterlight comes out this September, but I really, really like it. The next book that I picked up is purely on a recommendation from Jessie from the Bookish Mom. I will have to give her a shout out for it because I saw this and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. She talked about it nonstop on her channel, and that is The Women's War by Jenna Glass. I don't really know too much about this. I know that it is about a kingdom in which a spell happens and it gives women the power to control their own fertility, which happens to a world in which men see women as their possessions and their only job is to breed an heir. So I kind of get a vibe that it's very Handmaid's Tale like, minus, you know, this dystopian sci-fi. This is just a fantasy world. But like I said, the spell gives women the power to control their own fertility, and I believe you follow the story of 2 different women as they navigate this in the life that they're used to. The next book that I picked up is a book that John and I have had our eye on for a while, probably since it first came out, and that is The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. I don't know too much about this. I know that it involves an orc princess, and I believe there's a sapphic romance involved. I don't really know if it's like, I heard space opera associated with a review of this, which is not what I thought. I thought it was going to be fantasy, but I'm interested in it regardless. I mean, that all sounds really, really cool, so I picked this up as well. Next is an author that you, if you've been around, have heard me talk about many, many times on my channel, and that is Cinda Williams Chima. I have been trying to get all of the books that she has in the Warrior Chronicles, the Air Chronicles? The Air Chronicles. And The Sorcerer Heir is book 5. It is the last book that I needed in the entire series. I've read everything up to The Sorcerers? No, that's what this is. The Dragon Heir. I've read everything up to The Dragon Heir, and I thought that that was the end. Like, I thought it was a trilogy. I didn't realize that it had continued after that. So I picked up The Enchanter Heir several months ago, and I finally got my hands on The Sorcerer's Heir as well, and I am pretty excited to read it and finally finish the series. Ember's decided to join us, so that's pretty fun. You're being nosy. I know that it's your ottoman, but can I just borrow it for this one moment? Look, say hi to the camera. Hi, baby. Can I keep going? Is that okay? Thank you. Next book that I picked up is Only Human by Sylvain Nouvelle. This is the 3rd book in the Sleeping Giants series. I don't actually know if that has another name. Oh yeah, it does. This is book 3 of the Themis Files. So, you know, guilty. I haven't actually read books 1 and 2. I managed to get them at a half-price book, so fortunately, like, I didn't have to spend an absurd amount of money on them, and I can always bring them back to the half-price books I got them from if I don't love them. But they're very quick reads. They get amazing reviews from everybody online, so I really wanted to give all 3 books that are currently released a shot, and that is why I picked up book 3. The next book that I picked up is Spell Hacker by M.K. England. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this, really. I think that Elliot Brooks tried to give it a shot on her channel, but I don't know whether or not she liked it. I think she, like, DNF'd it for now, not permanently. But as far as I know, I can't really tell if this is like YA sci-fi or YA fantasy or a little bit of both. An earthquake releases a plague into the world that makes Maz, which is I guess their like word for magic, rare, and it's like controlled by one company or one group or whatever. And the main character runs an illegal ring in which they kind of gather it and sell it illegally. That is all that I really know about this. I don't know much else. I haven't really looked up any reviews for it, but I wanted to give it a shot. Next up is Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. Sandhya Menon? Menon? I think it's Menon. This is the author of When Dimple Met Rishi, and I haven't read any of those, but I've heard really great reviews of all of them. This is, as far as I know, like a Beauty and the Beast romance retelling, I guess. I don't really know anything at all about it. I know that there's a boarding school, I know that there is a princess and a curse of some kind on the male protagonist, and that it takes place in Aspen, Colorado, because I just saw that on the back. But yeah, that's all that I know about this. It has gotten pretty good reviews everywhere online though, so I am excited to read it. Next is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Literally all that I know about this is that people have said it's like an adventuring traveling story, but also like if Mulan meets Project Runway. To my knowledge, the main character of this is from a family in which her father is a tailor and wants to make clothes for the royal family, and the royal family is hosting some kind of competition in which they can compete to make clothes for like this contract, and only men can do this, I think. And the main character pretends to be a man or a boy or whatever and takes her father's place and goes to compete to win the contract for her family. So Mulan meets Project Runway. I have heard mixed reviews on this, but I think more positive than negative overall. I am just really intrigued by the concept, honestly. That entire thing sounds really, really cool to me. I heard that there's a really cute romance, so I'm in. I'm sold. Also, I just realized that it's blurbed by Tamara Pierce, and I will buy anything that Tamara Pierce blurbs. No, I mean, I didn't buy it because she blurbed it, because I just found that out, but like, you know what I mean. Alright, the very last book in this little intro is A Dream So Dark by L.L. McKinney. I already have A Blade So Black, and I have heard great things about it. I haven't read it yet, but I am pretty excited to get to it. And that is I think it's like a dark fairy tale retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but with a black main character, and I was really in for that. And I just love these covers so much. This is the sequel. That is the extent of my knowledge on these books, and that is all that I need to know. I don't historically love Alice in Wonderland retellings of any kind. Alice in Wonderland is a story that has just like historically freaked me out. But I think I've heard really great reviews, and the reviews that I've heard make me think that I might actually like this, so I wanted to give it a shot, and I found the second book on sale, so on the off chance that I like the first one, I would like to see if I like the second one as well, and I'll have the sequel ready and waiting. Okay, so that was a ridiculously long beginning to this vlog, and I apologize for that. Updates on reading is literally I am still reading The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. I am 34% of the way in. It is a very slow read, and it's not because I'm not interested, it's just the kind of story that you have to take your time with while you're reading, I guess. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than what I've already said in my last reading vlog. Things are definitely happening. I think the last time that I talked to you guys, I had mentioned that there was kind of a thing that was a subplot that felt like it should have been the main plot, but it wasn't really talked about very much, and it is definitely coming more to the forefront. I am enjoying it a lot more because now, as of 34% of the way through, we're starting to see a lot more viewpoints from other characters rather than just Ren, who is the main character. And while I enjoy her point of view, I was really, really interested in the subplot that was going on, and that was taking place through Gray, and I was really, really interested in the subplot that was taking place from his point of view, and I just wasn't getting enough of it, so we're kind of moving in that direction, and it's kind of tying in with another character whose name is Derasi Vargo, and he is like, he's kind of like a crime lord, but like the kind of crime lord that is trying to ingratiate himself with higher society, but that like noblemen in this world are not allowing him to do so because he's a crime lord and they all know it. So, you know, I guess they prefer their dealings with him to be more back alley than in ballrooms, which is not what he wants. And so they won't give him the time of day for any business proposals that he's putting forth, and his thing is that he would like Ren to help him get those business proposals. But there's also stuff going on in the background with him, because he is like a gang leader, he is a crime lord, he runs his own criminal enterprise, and he has discovered that there is a drug that is circulating in the city. I guess I should back up and say that part of his criminal enterprise is that he circulates a particular drug that, it's a hallucinogen. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it kind of gives people like dreamy hallucinations. And he's finding another drug is kind of horning in on his business, and it's very similar to the one that he's been distributing. However, it is having much worse effects, deadly effects on the people who take it, and he's trying to figure out where these people are getting it and how they're making it and how he can stop them from distributing it. So he's not a terrible person. He's definitely got layers that I'm very, very interested in seeing more of. And that is where I am at with that. I did not read any Lair of Dreams at all today. I did make the decision that I was going to switch out one of my TBR books. One of my TBR picks was a thriller for the bonus points that I'm giving myself, I guess, if that's what I'm doing, who knows. A thriller with a dark cover, and I had picked Final Scream by Lisa Jackson, and I am just not feeling it, which, shocker, who saw that coming? We all knew I was going to switch out a book on my TBR eventually, and today is that day. I decided instead of that, I'm going to pick up The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is about a high school girl who is like, I think she's relatively poor, and one day somebody dies and leaves her all of his money, but she doesn't know who that guy is, and the stipulation to this is that she has to go and live in this manor with a bunch of other people, I think, and there's like a, I don't know, puzzle solving scavenger hunt kind of element to it, which really, really interests me. I've never read anything by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but the entire concept of that sounds really cool. It's very Knives Out kind of a thing. I don't know. It sounds really cool. I can't wait to start reading it. The cover is a dark green, so, you know, it counts as a dark cover. This is my TBR challenge. I'm going to say that it counts, as I am the final authority on that. So that is it for my insanely long update. I hope I can cut a lot of that out in editing, because god, otherwise this is going to be a super long weekly vlog. But yeah, that is it for tonight, so I will talk to you guys when I have something to update you with. Hey guys, so true to form, if you watched my vlog last week, it has been 2 days since my last update. Wow, I sound like I'm in confession or something. Yeah, I had a migraine all day yesterday and most of today. It's finally letting up a little bit thanks to all of the ibuprofen, but we're good, it's fine. So yeah, I didn't do very much in terms of anything. I went to work and I tried not to let my left eyeball fall out. So, you know, success, obviously. But I did do a lot of reading, mostly audibly. I finished Lair of Dreams today. Yay! According to my Cawpile, Frankenstein Cawpile, because I don't just use like G's Cawpile. But anyway, according to my Cawpile spreadsheet, it has taken me 24 days to read Lair of Dreams, which it's really not that long of a book. That it just wasn't holding my interest. I don't really know how to describe my thoughts on Lair of Dreams, and I know that's been the theme for these last couple of reading vlogs, but like, I don't know what it is. I love January Lavoie. I love her narration in these audiobooks, the way that she does the voices and her singing voice. It's all incredible, and I highly recommend her as an audiobook narrator, and especially in The Diviners. Lair of Dreams, I wanted to punch Evie in the face. I don't really know how else to say that. She was so, and on the one hand, I can understand that she has been through some shit and she's trying to get over it and she's drowning it in alcohol, but like on the other hand, literally other people went through the same shit and they're dealing with it just fine because there's more important stuff they need to be doing, and she's the only one not recognizing that. And it kind of came to a head, and I'm realizing that this is one of my least favorite tropes, which is when a character is wholly unreliable or is seen to be unreliable, but something happens that requires her to be responsible. They swear up and down that they are going to do it this time, they're gonna come through, they're gonna do the thing that their friends or their people need them to do, and then circumstances happen, and while we, the reader, know that they didn't intend to, like, fall through on their promise, their friends are just like, oh great, they've let us down again, blah blah blah. Like, I hate that. I hate perpetuating that in that way. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not probably describing it the way that I want to, but like, every time it happens in a book, I just can't help but just like roll my eyes, because of course the thing that derails them from their character growth or whatever is going to happen right when they need to be there for somebody else the most. Like, but yeah, that happened at the end of Lair of Dreams, and while, I don't know, spoiler alert, I guess, while she ended up coming through in the end, and being there, falling down drunk, which also irritated me. I don't know. There was a lot about the characters, I guess, in this that irritated me. Everybody was just making bad decisions. The only person that I liked the entire time was Ling. Like, she was the only one that was doing the right thing all the time, making the right decisions. I don't know. Sam, I guess. Sam showed considerable growth too, and so, you know, we like Sam. Trying to think if I have anything else to say. I put it through Cawpile. Like, I finished it while I was working from home today. So I put it through Cawpile, and surprisingly, it came out at a 4. I was kind of thinking, sorry for the glare on my glasses. I'm not feeling the contacts thing today. I was thinking it was gonna be a 3 or like a high 3. Like, I know I'm like bitching about it, but I didn't despise it. I was interested in it just fine while I was reading it. The problem was getting the motivation to actually like put it on. Like I said in my last vlog, like, my plan was to listen to it while I was working all week. That did not happen because a lot of good YouTube videos have come out, and I've just been listening to those instead of any audiobooks. So I finished Lair of Dreams. I am at 85% of The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. I hope to be finishing that off tonight. I think I'm gonna be able to do it. It's like, I don't have a watch. It's like 8:30. I think I should be able to finish it if I don't talk too much in this particular update and just get around to reading. I am really enjoying it. I saw a review on Goodreads. I made the mistake of looking at reviews on Goodreads before I finished it, and there was one where somebody said something like, the entire first half of this book was entirely unnecessary, which incidentally is how I felt about The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry. But this one, I understand the setup. It is, I mean, it's purely like an, I'm not gonna say epic, but it's an adult, slow-moving, intricate, very political fantasy. And they took the entire, there's 2 authors, they took the entire first half to set up all of the moving parts. And while at 85% through, I can't necessarily say that I understand all of those moving parts. There's a lot of political figures to keep track of, a lot of families, a lot of different parts of this world to keep track of that I don't necessarily think I'm doing a great job of. I think that using the first 50% to set up all of those things is paying off now in the last 50%, because lots of stuff is going down very quickly, and if that had not been the case in the first part of the book, I think that I would be ridiculously confused instead of just, oh crap, I forgot who that person is. Incidentally, there is a cast of characters list in the back and a list of terms that explains all of the words and stuff like that. So that has been helpful, but it's not necessarily easy to flip back and forth in an ebook, especially in an ebook that's not really an ebook, because like arcs aren't really set up like that for easy flipping back and forth. But okay, so we're 85% of the way through. Renata is kind of still holding on to her con, but she's mostly let it go for the reasons that she had been doing it before, and now she's like genuinely caring for the people that she had tried to con. The thing that I talked about at the end of my last vlog, the semi-incestuous thing that was happening, I'm pretty glad that that has been dropped. I am not pretty glad about the way in which it was dropped. I'm not going to say any more than that because that is ridiculously spoilery, but my heart hurts. I think I'm just going to say that. I will say that I think that it's leaving it open to maybe going the way that I want the ship to go, so we shall see. I don't know if they're trying to set anything up at all, but I don't know if they are trying to set something up, if it's between the one character I want or this other character that I don't want. I love Ren as a character. I love Tess as a character. Her sister, Sedge, is also awesome. Like, he's just this great brotherly figure, and I love everything about him. Vargo is ridiculously morally gray. I mean, lots of people in this are morally gray. Obviously, your main character is trying to con her way into a family and is pretending to be like a long-lost relative, but like, Vargo is really morally gray, but he is a really fascinating character. I just want to know more about what happened in his past. There have been hints at it, and like strong hints at it, but I need to know for sure. Gray, also a very interesting character, but he's kind of your more typical, I don't want to call him a himbo. Leto is a himbo, but Gray is more like your stereotypical soldier boy type. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I think that there's probably a plot twist of some kind coming up that may or may not involve him. I would like to see if that theory is true. But other than that, yeah, that's where I'm at reading wise. Like I said, I really want to finish that tonight. I do have another arc that I need to finish before the end of the month, but it is shorter. It's Quest for Navigation by Kevin Hearn. If you don't know, Kevin Hearn is one of my absolute favorite authors, and he wrote a sci-fi novella that I got approved for the arc for on NetGalley, so I am pumped. So that's pretty cool, and that is it in terms of reading updates. I don't really, like I said, that's all that I've been working on. I've been trying to finish The Mask of Mirrors because I need to have a review for it on NetGalley by Tuesday. So that's coming up, and I'm cutting it pretty close. I don't really have anything else. I will talk to you guys when I actually have something more to talk about. Loki. Hi, baby. Oh, hi, handsome. Aw, you're the best. What a good boy. And we're back in the exact same place that we were in yesterday, from the exact same spot that I updated you in yesterday, but it has been a whole day, I promise. I actually have a lot to update you guys on. I mean, I haven't done anything, which is why there's really not much in the way of B-roll, because on the days that I work from home, I literally sit on the couch, work. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I do. Okay, let's move past it. I work on the couch for like my whole 7.5 to 8 hours a day, and then I don't leave because quarantine, so like, I don't do anything interesting, I'm sorry. I guess I could put more footage of the animals in here. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But, I actually do have a few bigger bookish updates for you, because last night, at far later than it should have been, I finished The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick, and I'm happy to report that I actually absolutely loved it. I put it through, I'm gonna keep calling it Cawpile, even though I'm technically not using Cawpile as my rating system, but it's still a 7-category like rating system that boils down into a 5-star. So when I put it through my rating system on my spreadsheet, I kind of thought it was going to end up as a 4-star. That's what it was looking at, but apparently everything was high enough for it to come out as a 5-star. So I ended up giving The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick 5 full stars. The ending was so good. I cannot wait until book 2 comes out, and that's probably going to be at least a year minimum, so that'll be fun to wait for. But in the meantime, I really kind of want to reread it. The ending, though, oh, it was so good on so many different levels. The thing that I talked about that I thought might happen as a plot twist happened, so I called that, but It doesn't really bother me when I call a plot twist, unless it's like something ridiculously obvious, but I don't know, I don't really necessarily feel like this was ridiculously obvious. It was kind of like a vibe that I got that happened to come true, and that vibe paid off, and I actually really, really like it. I like the setup for book 2. I like everything that happened in the end that flipped certain characters that you had been kind of rooting for, honestly, on their head. Ren realizing that she wasn't necessarily the smartest person in the room at all times like she thought she was pretty nice, and everything just kind of was good. I liked the ending a lot. It ended up being 5 stars. My review is up on NetGalley and Goodreads, and I will talk about it further, I guess, in my end of the month wrap-up. I don't really know what else I can say about it that I haven't said in this and last week's vlog, but whatever. Moving past that, I started Kevin Hearn's novella, A Quest for Navigation, this morning. It's like 144 pages, and I ended up finishing that today as well. So we're moving through books in this vlog, which is great. And I think I talked about it a little bit yesterday. That is a sci-fi novella that Kevin Hearn, who is one of my favorite authors, he wrote the Iron Druid Chronicles. So he wrote a sci-fi novella, which is 140 pages, essentially, of... Come here. Hi. You wanna say hi? You can sit. Oh, you're gonna... Okay. That's fine. You can join me. Here, let's turn the camera. Okay. So it was about 140 pages about a guy who was hiking with his friend in Colorado, and he got abducted by some aliens, and his friend got eaten. That's not a spoiler. That actually happens like on the 2nd page, maybe? Something like that. So the rest of the novella is pretty much him on the spaceship, the mothership, if you will, trying to figure out a way to survive his situation. It's Kevin Hearn, so it's hilarious. I'm not really a novella person unless it's like a novella in an established world where I know the characters and I know the story and all of that, but I really actually enjoyed this, and it was because it was so fast-paced. Bye, love you. It was so fast-paced and everything was happening at once that those 140 pages just absolutely flew by. It was so funny to read. It was so much fun to read. It didn't necessarily end with like everything being resolved, which I have mixed feelings about, but I guess that's kind of the issue with it being so short as a novella, that it's just obviously not everything is going to be able to be wrapped up the way that I want it to. So I'm going to need more of that story. I'm going to need a lot more of that story. I need to know what happens to the people that I started to like a lot. I need to know, I can't really say what else I need to know because that will spoil the ending, but I need answers, more answers than we were given. But it was really, really good. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think that it was mostly just meant to be a good time, and it was a good time. I laughed out loud several times, but it's Kevin Hearn, so that's not anything unexpected to me. Yeah, it was a good time. And since I finished that, I also was listening to the audiobook of Sleigh while I was working today. And I mean, it's a super short audiobook. I think it's only like 8 hours, so I'm actually 65% of the way through Sleigh already because I just listened to it all day, and I listen to audiobooks on 2 times the speed. So I've only got 2 hours left in that. I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight. It's already like 8 o'clock, but I will most likely finish it tomorrow, hopefully, and I will be able to give you guys more of my thoughts on it then. I mean, it's not like I can't give you any thoughts. I'm 65% of the way through it already, so I'm the majority of the way through this book. I don't know, it's really good. The video game aspect is cool, but I learned in Warcross that the video game aspect is something, and Ready Player One, that is always gonna draw me in. I just love like sci-fi with virtual reality. I think it's so cool, and I think it's because we're like on the cusp of that in real life that it's just so nice to think about. I mean, not the situation in this particular book because it kind of sucks what she's going through, but in general, as far as sci-fi goes, it's kind of fun to think about like where video gaming is going. And so in Sleigh, you follow Kira, she's a young black girl, she's in high school, and she has developed this incredible VR video game that is meant solely for the Black community, to just have a safe space for them to game in, and it is really interesting. Every like aspect of it, I wish that it were real, but it kind of sounds a little bit Yu-Gi-Oh-ish if like it were based on Black history and Black culture. Like all of the cards that the players get to use in the battles are all based on Black history and Black culture, and it's so great. Like it's such a good story from beginning to, well, middle, which is where I'm at right now, but I don't see that changing at any time. Kira is such an interesting character. She kind of frustrates me at times just because she's like so unwilling to talk to literally anybody, which I understand. I can't really stand her boyfriend, like he really annoys me, but I love her sister. Her sister is the sweetest, smartest person in the whole book, in my opinion, and I love her a lot. So I hope that Kira continues to trust her and move forward with that. But yeah, so where I'm at right now, Kira's about to make a very big announcement in the community on within the game, and that is where I had to stop the audiobook while I was making dinner. So I would really love to know where she's taking this. I get the feeling we're coming to the big climax of the book. She just found out that a particular character within the game that is causing a lot of strife for reasons, she thinks that she knows who it is, and that was not necessarily a surprising reveal, but it was a good reveal. So I would love to see where that's going, and I think that is it as far as my update goes. So I think that I'm going to pick up another TBR read. I think that I'm going to start the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes tonight. I think that that should be a fairly quick read. Yeah, I think I'm going to start that. I have the ebook of it, and the story sounds really interesting, and I think it'll be fun to read that for a few hours before bed. Okay, for real now, I'm going to go read, and I'm going to go to bed, and do it all over again in the morning, because again, I work from home. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, it is officially time to close out this reading vlog. Today is Sunday. Yeah, it's the 17th, I think. Yeah, it's the 17th. I haven't updated you guys since Thursday because I haven't felt like it. So there's that. I've done a lot of reading over the last few days, and I think that the last time I spoke, I was in the middle of Sleigh. I think that was the only thing I was in the middle of at the time. So I have since totally finished Sleigh. I was at like 65% or something. I finished that Friday night, and I really, really loved it. The last like 30% of that book totally flew through, which is awesome. So much happened. Like, Kira was doing all of these dually things. The reveal that we thought was like the final reveal for the bad guy was not at all who we had thought it was going to be. It wasn't wholly unexpected. Ember's kicking my tripod, it's fine. It wasn't wholly unexpected, and I knew there had to be a reason that I was having the negative feelings towards a certain person that I was having, and that is what happened in the end of that book, which is awful, and I felt so bad for Kira. And a little frustrated with her mentality as well, but I kind of understood where she was coming from. Overall, I really liked it. I really liked the ending. It was great on every single level between Kira and Steph and Cicada. I just loved all of them, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars just because there were a lot of things that Kira was doing that was frustrating me, but overall I really enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars after I put it through my spreadsheet. After I finished that, I picked up The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I also really enjoyed. That was a super quick read. I think it only took me like 2 days or something like that. The Inheritance Games follows Avery, who is living with her older half-sister after her mom died. She's really down on her luck. She has no money. She's trying to get a scholarship to go to actuarial school, which does something with numbers and statistics. That's all I got out of it. So she's trying to get a scholarship and do all of that, But one day she gets called into the principal's office and introduced to a guy who tells her that people have been trying to get a hold of her because somebody died and left her something in his will, and she needs to go with them to see what it is that she has been left. And it turns out she's been left $1 billion estate. Not billion, but like billions of dollars worth of an estate. And the only stipulation is that she has to live in the house, Hawthorne House, for an entire year in order to get it. And all of the people that were supposed to get the money, or that thought they were supposed to get the money, have actually not gotten anything that they thought they were going to get. So it's a very Knives Out situation mixed with kind of like a Truly Devious type of deal where they're trying to figure out clues in the mystery or whatever. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't want to take it any more seriously than that. But it was a really fun, quick read. I don't necessarily know that I loved the way that it ended. In fact, I can actually say that I don't like the way that it ended at all. I thought it was super anticlimactic. I thought that it was going to be something way more interesting than that, and it turned out to not be. I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll change in the next book, but the way that it ended was not impressive to me at all. But yeah, I put it through my spreadsheet. I thought it was going to come out at like a high 3 stars just because of how irritated I was with some of the characters and how irritated I was with the way that it ended, but it did actually come out at a 4. So, you know, that happened. I don't know if I want to read the next book or not. I don't love the whole love triangle thing that they were setting up because it was just super reminiscent of a different character in the book that made the same bad choices and bad things happened, and I don't like the mirror element to that, but you know, whatever. We'll see. The next book comes out in like September or something, so it's not like I don't have time to decide. So after I finished the Inheritance Games, I actually finished it like last night, and I started Wildcard by Marie Lu. I probably should have started it a long time ago because I don't really remember a lot of the things that happened in Warcross at the end. I remember like who's the bad guy in the end of Warcross, and they reminded you of a lot of stuff in the beginning of Wildcard. So I have the physical copy. I got the ebook and I got the audiobook from my library just to see if I can speed that up. But I maybe got like 2 chapters into that book last night, so I really have a lot more to go before I have any opinions on what's going on. So yeah, that's it, I guess. I started that. Before I officially finish wrapping this vlog up though, this came in the mail yesterday, so I wanted to do one last unboxing in this vlog for you guys. Obviously I already know what's in it because I picked my books, but I got a year-long Book of the Month subscription as a Christmas present, so this was the first one out of all of those, and I am really excited to show you guys what I got. Okay. So my regular book pick that I chose was The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. I don't really know anything at all about this other than there's a fake dating element to it. So I'm here for that, and also the cover is super pretty. I just love this purple. But yeah, all that I know is that it's a romantic comedy. There's a fake dating trope. I think that she dates somebody to please her parents, and then it ends up becoming real. I don't know for sure, but we will find out, and I'm pretty excited about it. And then the next book that I got, well, the only other book that I got in it was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I talked about this in my December wrap-up because I had just finished it. But I had the opportunity to get an add-on of it for my Book of the Month subscription, so I did so because I really wanted the physical copy. I didn't have any copies of it. I think I borrowed the ebook from my library. So again, look at this beautiful cover. I mean, it's gorgeous. And I really enjoyed this story. I really enjoyed the characters in it, and I can't wait to see what happens in book 2, so we will be rereading this maybe around when that happens. But yeah, I talked about it in my December wrap-up, so I'm not really going to go too far into it again. But yeah, those are the 2 books that I got in my Book of the Month subscription. I went over all of my reading that I did over the last few days, so I guess that is it for me today, guys. I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!